Hey everybody, welcome to Local Business Hacks Podcast. I'm your host, Carl Case, and I'm on a mission to help you. Every week, we're going to be talking to local business owners and experts to get their best tips, tricks, and hacks to grow your business. This show is designed to teach you, inspire you, and motivate you to take massive action and start to build your future-proof business. Whether you're just starting off or you're taking your existing business to the next level, this episode is for you. So let's get started. Good afternoon, local business hackers. I am Carl Case, head of business development at Referrizer, joined today by Onyi, the CEO of Glo Tanning. Onyi, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Where are you calling in from?
Dallas, Texas.
All righty. And obviously you don't overnight become the CEO of the biggest tanning salon. So tell me your journey and how you got to where you are.
So started the first Glo in 2010. So 2000, signed the lease 2009 and decided to kind of get into this when I was 21. Super interesting. And it's been a really good journey so far.
Awesome. What made you get into tanning in the first place?
So I used to be a bodybuilder, and my first business was actually a supplement store that I bought from a lady. I didn't have any money, so I got her to owner's finance it. It went really well, paid her back quicker than expected. Was looking at opening my second location. I went to the University of Arkansas, so it was in Fayetteville, Arkansas. And the space that I found was too big for a supplement store, so I was trying to figure out what an auxiliary business would be, and that happened to be tanning. So, decided on that. It went really well and ended up just going full tanning after a while.
Awesome. And fast forward today, how many locations do you guys currently have, and what new markets are you looking to get into?
So we have over 50 locations in 11 states. We have, in the next part 12 months, add another 15 to 20 locations. So, we're growing pretty rapidly.
That's awesome. And for our listeners, how can they get involved?
So we franchise. And if you just go to the website, glotanning.com, you can go to the franchise link and fill that out. And if you qualify, then, our director of franchise will contact you, and then we'll kind of move forward from there.
Awesome. And the question that I ask everybody on this podcast is, what are some lessons or some stories that taught you the lessons that maybe you wish that you knew early on that you consistently remind other people or even remind yourself? Keep in mind, really interested in the story, not so much the lesson, but what you got?
So a few things. I would say number one is there's never been a goal that I've set for myself that I have not achieved. And that's not like in any type of cocky way or anything. It's just that, God's helped me to believe in myself because of the fact that anything that you can envision, that you can see and visualize, you can make happen. And that's just a fact. So, there's things that, okay, cool. Yeah, I want to win the lottery. Well, I don't even play the lottery. So, that's a dream that I can't realistically see, but anything that I can set a goal and can take action to, it's always happened. So that's one. So never set your goals too low. So that's number one. Number two is I never think I'm the smartest person in the room. And I never really make decisions by myself, to be honest. So I surround myself with really smart people, and I trust them to do their job. And I'm a master delegator. So if somebody can do something 80% as well as I can, then I'll delegate it. But typically with delegation and the way that I run my organization is the people that I'm delegating to are actually better than me at whatever I'm delegating. So I find somebody that's better, and then I delegate. I also, I guess number three would be replace yourself. Within Glo, my whole corporate staff and team, they all know everyone's replaceable. Your job is to make yourself replaceable. And it's not replaceable as in we want to get rid of them. No, we want them to be here forever. But when you replace yourself, then you're able to move up. So if you can't replace yourself, then you're always going to be stagnant. I've never had a good employee that wasn't able to replace himself. So a lot of people who have the wrong mindset will think that by replacing yourself, then therefore you're replaceable, therefore you're not needed. And that's not the truth. If you replace yourself, then we can move you to better and bigger projects or a better and bigger position than where you currently are. So that's really it. Even with the replacement, I truly believe in replacing myself as well. I want the organization to function just as well as it functions right now, even if I wasn't here. The strength of a good leader is not that everything crumbles when you leave, it's that everything stays intact when you're gone. So just constantly finding ways to replace myself, which opens up more time, which therefore I fill with more things. So I'm more productive throughout the day by replacing myself. And those are probably the three tenets.
Awesome. Well, congrats to you, obviously, for becoming an owner and not necessarily an operator, because that chokes CEOs at not being innovative, which everybody thrives for. What are some ways that our audience could learn from? How do you replace yourself, or what is Glo Tanning and you specifically put into place to hire the right talent to where that is possible? Because as I'm sure you learned or have seen in many organizations, it's a fault. Holding on to the theory of slow to hire, quick to fire is nice in theory, but not always able to be applicable. So you got any advice or words on that?
Yeah. So first, my organization is woman run. Like, we pretty much are essentially, our CFO is a man, and also my partner, and then everybody else is women. And typically the difference between men and women are men are a little bit more, they're more assertive in terms of like, they feel like they're worth more than they are. They demand more without showing more. And for the women, they'll bust their ass, they'll do what they do what they need to do, and they typically want to bring other people in as well. It's also easier for them to kind of let the ego aside and say, hey, I don't know how to do this, or I need help, compared to man. Sometimes it's hard for men to do. So, I think that really helps within the organization. But for us, in terms of getting talent, it's really kind of using resources that people on my team have had previously. So they've worked in other organizations that are very similar, and they worked with somebody for 10 years at this organization, and that person's no longer there, but they kind of reach back out. That person loves the industry and wants to get back in the industry, but wants to get back in the industry in a culture that is more representative of what they want to see. But then also, like I said, it's woman run. And almost always, even within the space that I'm in, it's pretty much all older white men that control the whole organization from top down. So for them to kind of work with people who are similar, but then not only that, but have the trust of myself, the CFO, and everybody else to basically make decisions and not be constantly second guessed. For them, that makes them work harder and feel good.
I love that. That's really awesome. I remember when I had 53 developers at my office in Boca, and we ended up cleaning house, and the only ones that stayed were the dominant women, and it turned into an amazing crew. So I can speak from personal experience. That's incredible.
Are you based in Boca?
I just moved to West Palm Beach, but I've been in Boca pretty much my whole life, aside for a couple of years in Austin.
Yeah, we just opened a store in Boca like probably 6 months ago.
Great idea. Good market to be in.
Yep. So
welcome to paradise.
we're on that side of Florida. We're in Boca and Wellington.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Nice. So I got time for one other story. Is there anything that comes to mind that was funny, or something that really relates to people in the health and wellness world that are looking to start their business that you learned early on, or that taught you a lesson?
I think that the biggest thing, two things with people in business just in general, is they expect their friends to support them. And that's just not going to happen. If your friends come to you, they're looking for a discount typically. So I wouldn't expect that. And second is, people are very emotional about business, and business should never be emotional. For instance, people say, okay, well, why do you feel like you're good at what you do? And this is probably almost always my response is, well, one is we can always improve, but beyond that, I'm unemotional about it. I don't care what tanning bed is my favorite bed because I don't tan. I don't care what tanning lotion is my favorite lotion because I don't use it. I care about what drives the consumer to buy that lotion, what drives the consumer to want to use that bed or that spa service or X, Y, and Z, because I'm very unemotional about it, compared to the liquor connoisseur that loves, say, red wine or bourbon and wants to open a liquor store and they want to have a whole section for bourbon, but bourbon's one of the worst sellers, right? Because they're emotional about it, they think that what they like is what everybody else likes, or things like that. So, because if you really look at it, typically the people that are best in a space actually don't even use it. So, if you say who are the best, who run the best liquor stores, who are the most successful liquor store owners, Muslims, they don't drink. So they're very unemotional about, it's just a business.
Yeah.
It's not one of those things, not a passion project, right? Typically passion projects fail. So it's just like a restaurant. You say, hey, well, I really, really love noodles. So now I'm going to go make a shop that's just noodles, and it's hot noodles, but that's a niche market. Typically is not going to be successful. And if it is successful, it's because there's such a high population like LA or New York or something like that, that if you just have 0.001% of the population come visit once a year, you're still going to be successful. But that's really it. It's just being unemotional about it and actually using real statistics, focus groups, and everything else, not just using what you feel in your gut to be the determining factor on what business decision you make. So
I love that. Let data drive your decisions.
Yes, exactly.
And not what you or the 12 other failing businesses around you think are going to work.
Exactly.
That's funny. That's awesome. Well, I so appreciate it from myself and our listeners for joining today and sharing your story.
Awesome. I appreciate you.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's it for this week's episode. I hope you found it helpful. Be sure to head over to our site, local-business-hacks.com, to check out the show notes and send me questions or ideas for future episodes. If you want to grow your business, just like the people you've heard from here, follow Local Business Hacks Podcast and tune in for new tips, tricks, and tactics. Until next time, thanks for listening and keep hacking.